So now that the Mando and Grogu movie is releasing soon, I feel like it was a good time to go back and rewatch season 2 of The Mandalorian. And I have to say, man, truly one of the best Star Wars series obviously ever, but season 2 in particular, man, I truly believe that that is the best Star Wars season of any show, like, period. And keep in mind, I haven't watched Clone Wars fully yet. I'm still in the process of watching it. Clone Wars is such a very long show. It's like literally like a fucking anime basically. So I'm taking my time with Clone Wars. I'm not rushing it. So even when I finish Clone Wars, I might think I might rank higher lore as it is now. But personally for me, I've seen all the live action shows. And I feel like for the most part, Mando season 2 has to be the best live action show ever. And I feel like Andor is really fucking good. I feel like Andor and this season are so close. But for me, man, I feel like Mando just edges out a little bit more just because of the weight of the show. When this show came out, initially, it was the first live action show ever. For those of y'all that don't know, basically there was a whole other like Star Wars show that George Lucas was planning to do like in 2010, I believe. And he was so ahead of its time. He wanted to do like a live action show. Basically, I think it took place like in the underworld of like Coruscant, I think, and it was like a bounty hunter show, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like called Star Wars like Underworld or like some shit, I believe. You guys should look into that. There's a lot of videos about that out there. I thought it was a very interesting project. They definitely shot like a lot of test footage and stuff. So it was basically like an early format for like what a live action show would be in Star Wars, right? And George Lucas basically said that like it was way too fucking expensive to make, but that he hoped that one day it was gonna be what happened. Just see The Mandalorian come out in 2019. It was such a good show, so well received, and I was definitely nervous because I thought like, is this show even gonna be good, bro? Just because obviously Star Wars for the most part, I feel like for the most part, I can enjoy some aspects of all the movies, right? Like there's not a single movie where I'm like, nah, like that shit didn't hit or land. I feel like for the most part, I love Star Wars. I love all the shows and movies. I'm not saying all of it's good, but as a Star Wars fan, I find something to enjoy about it no matter what, right? So going into Mando, I was interested to see it, and I thought it wasn't gonna be as good, man. But man, I was so fucking wrong, dude. Like watching this show for the first time was so fucking insane. I didn't watch it when it first came out. I watched it like a year later. So right around like early season 2 when it first came out, I was watching season 1 for the first time. So eventually kind of caught up with like the current episodes. So I think that was around like season 2 episode 3 where I was fully caught up with the series. And from that point on, I was watching season 2 like whenever it would drop. And just the initial like reactions to this show were so positive. I was like, wow, man, I thought it was so fucking good. And Pedro Pascal, man, he is such a great actor. And I feel like him as Mando is so awesome to see, just because the whole dynamic of like him, he's really like hardcore Mandalorian. Like he doesn't take off his helmet, he doesn't do all that, so he's very intense on screen. And I feel like he just has aura, bro. Like, he has that mysterious aura, and when he pulls up, he always gets the job done. I feel like he's just one of those like badass fucking characters in Star Wars. And just this whole dynamic with him and Grogu is so fun to see, man. It's so entertaining. Grogu is like such a fun character, and just to see how he's a baby basically in this series, he's super just curious, and he's always kind of like just playing around and shit, and just that he's force sensitive, he has a lot of power, and definitely explore that in season 2 a lot. Basically kind of the whole premise of season 2 is basically like Mando trying to find like Grogu like the proper home or place, I guess, because he kind of knows that he has these powers, but he doesn't really know, like he can't really train him obviously himself. So throughout the season we kind of see him trying to like find out like who can train him, right? And he kind of goes on this journey. There's a lot of great episodes in this series, and definitely episode 1 where you kind of have like what was it called? He basically kind of had like Mando and this other guy that was wearing Boba Fett's armor go on this crazy ass adventure. They try to kill like this guy, where not to kill this guy, they're basically trying to get all these people to like kill this fucking monster, dude. And I thought that was such an entertaining episode, just because first of all, the whole IMAX sequence where the screen goes full, I thought that was super incredible. Like just seeing that, it was so well done, and I feel like that episode in particular is super fucking goated. And just overall, I really enjoy like the episode for season 2. Episode 1 was so fucking goated, and I feel like from that point on, I knew the show was gonna be fucking good. But like I said, I hadn't really watched it since 2020. Like I hadn't watched the show since it came out, so it was kind of crazy to see like how fucking like goated it was at that time. But seeing it now, like I realized like damn, like that was really good, because I hadn't really remembered it. It was almost like watching something for the first time, but I kind of knew how it was gonna play out, but like I hadn't seen it yet, so it was like basically me watching this shit for the first time. So to go like 6 years without watching a show, definitely like it's interesting, because you kind of like feel like you're watching it for the first time, but you kind of have like a different perspective on it, if that makes sense. But I think overall, like it was something that I really enjoyed, and I'm excited, watching the show. And from that point on, episode 2 was a good episode. You basically kind of had Mando and Grogu basically get trapped in like this fucking like snow cave, and they had these crazy ass spiders, which I fucking hate spiders, dude. It was super creepy. Just the whole build up to that episode was insane. Basically had Mando trying to escape the fucking like police and shit, and he ends up getting caught in this fucking cave, and they're trying to get out, and then they end up getting like attacked by all these spiders and shit. That was a super intense episode in my opinion. Then you had episode 3 of like Bo-Katan, and that was also like another great episode as well. Seeing her live action now, I haven't really watched the Clone Wars fully, but I know who she is. Obviously, I'm aware of like her character and all that. So that was, I'm pretty sure for all the animated Clone Wars fans and all that, people that watch animated shows, seeing Bo-Katan must have been such a crazy moment. And when this show initially released, I remember people were freaking out about Bo-Katan live action because that wasn't crazy. And another live action character that came out this season was Ahsoka, and I thought that was another part that was super fucking insane. Her whole episode, I think it's in episode 5, I believe. It's called The Jedi, I believe, that episode. That was such a great episode as well, dude, because you kind of saw like Ahsoka. Obviously we saw Ahsoka live action for the first time, but just seeing Rosario Dawson, I thought she was super great. Definitely playing that older version of Ahsoka, and obviously we see Ahsoka later on in the Ahsoka show, but just initially when this came out, people were fucking blown away, man. And this is an episode that was directed by Dave Filoni, so low-key, like Dave Filoni always cooks when it comes to these episodes for the most part. He's done a couple of the Book of Boba episodes and some other episodes he's directed, but I thought he did a great job in this episode just because of the whole like samurai kind of like aspect of it. It felt very like samurai-ish, I don't know if that's even a word, but basically the whole fight that Ahsoka has with that other girl towards the end of the episode, it was super well done. And just Mando in this episode is also badass. And kind of seeing like Grogu kind of like basically hang around with Ahsoka was pretty fascinating to see. I know Ahsoka this was such a big deal when this came out again. People were freaking out. Ahsoka was one of those characters that they hadn't brought in live action, but that was such a popular character, and just to see her like finally in live action was super exciting. And the episode was good as fuck, man, as well. And you have the next episode where basically you see fucking Boba Fett come back to life, which was really exciting at the time. I remember people were freaking out. That was one of the biggest mysteries in Star Wars for so long, was that Boba Fett truly alive? After he gets thrown in the Starlight Pit in episode 6, people wonder that for so fucking long, and just to see him come back, and just the way that they brought him back was so fucking well done. Like the whole way it was directed, and just him like coming back as a complete fucking badass. Once he puts on the armor and shit, you realize like, damn, this guy's a bad motherfucker, bro. And it was so exciting to see, and that whole episode was super intense, seeing Grogu get captured, and it kind of felt bad. And basically the whole episode takes place on that little planet, and I thought Robert Rodriguez did such a great job at directing it, man. It was super action heavy, and you definitely felt that Robert Rodriguez style in that episode, if it makes sense. It was super fucking effective, man, and I really enjoyed that episode. And I remember when that episode dropped, I just remember like being so scared. I was like, fuck, they have Grogu do, like, how's this gonna fucking play out? And then you have the next episode, you basically have Bill Burr basically give him the Imperial code to kind of go into that base. He basically try to sneak into this secret like Imperial base, and you have to see Mando like take off his helmet so they can scan his face. That was an earthy moment. You can just see how uncomfortable he is when he's not in the helmet. It was just a lot of great facial expressions by Pedro Pascal in this episode. It was really deep, man, and I thought that this episode was, again, super well done. There was a lot of action in it, and that was really exciting to see. And I feel like finally, man, the main point of this series, I feel like, or not series, but season, I feel like the moment that people talk about the most, hands down, is the finale. The finale for this series, man, or this season, my bad. It was so fucking crazy, man. I remember the hype around this episode. When this episode hadn't released yet, dude, people were fucking freaking out, dude. There were so many theories about who was gonna save Grogu, because you remember in episode 6, I believe, you basically had him like in that Jedi, like all the rocks and shit, basically kind of like doing like a force signal, I guess, trying to call out for another Jedi. And for those 2 weeks, dude, people were like freaking out. There were so many theories about, like, people were saying like Mace Windu was gonna come back, and like Obi-Wan isn't dead at this point, my bad, I forgot. It's been a minute. Basically, people say we're Mace Windu. Basically, every Jedi that like hadn't died yet, that like hadn't came back, like people were like wondering who it was gonna be. And definitely Luke Skywalker was definitely a theory that was floating around. And just to see him come out in this episode, man, this was like, I want to say, this season 2 in particular, I think it is up there with like the original trilogy as far as like it being peak Star Wars. It is on that level, man. It is truly like some of the best Star Wars we're ever gonna fucking see. It was so fucking well done, well made, and you have to give basically all the people involved in the show all the credit, man, because this season, man, was truly special. I feel like when it came out towards the end of 2020. It was a different time back then, and I feel like, again, the hype for this finale was so fucking insane. And this is truly like the best episode of any live action show in Star Wars ever. Just one of the best finales to any show, like series, season, period, the whole episode basically is them kind of like getting together. He basically goes back to like recruit Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks, and you see whenever you see Mando and Boba Fett walk into the bar, dude, you know that this shit's about to go down, dude. Like, it was really like, that was a fun scene to watch, you know. And just like from that point on, dude, like the whole episode is just, the pacing is fucking insane. It is, again, like it literally felt like a fucking movie, dude. Like, it was so fucking well done. And just Giancarlo Esposito, you know, as Moff Gideon, man, you don't see him a lot in season 1 and 2, but he was so fucking good, man. His presence was so insane. He's such a great fucking villain, dude. You really hated this guy, and just him having that Darksaber, it was super interesting to see. And that was another part of this series, you know, especially in the end of season 1, we see him whip out the Darksaber. That was I know that meant a lot to the animated fans, you know. Like I said, I hadn't watched that show, but I was well aware of like the significance of the Darksaber in this show. It was a big deal, and the whole episode basically they basically kind of infiltrate the fucking base after getting the plans from the previous episode, and it's such an exciting, man. There's nothing I could say that hasn't already been said about this finale, you know. It was so well directed, and somewhat truly, like, when we say peak Star Wars, guys, it's some of the peakest Star Wars that's ever come out, and I'm honestly just excited to like see like the Mando Grogu movie, just because I hope that I basically avoided all trailers for the end. I still have to watch season 3, so I'm trying to kind of rush it to kind of see, like, cause I know the movie's coming out soon, so I'm trying to rewatch everything quickly again. But just, you know, initially, man, season 2, dude, is so fucking peak, bro. And obviously Luke Skywalker coming out at the end was super just insane. Seeing the X-Wing come out, I got fucking goosebumps thinking about it, watching that for the first time. I remember it, you know. I was freaking the fuck out, dude. This was such an influential episode to Star Wars fans, and it impacted a lot of people. A lot of people cried in this episode, and just rewatching it, dude, I got teary-eyed, man. And nothing ever makes me fucking cry, dude. Like, any movie or show, I basically have never cried to anything. In this show, man, even knowing what happens afterwards in Book of Boba and all that, like, rewatching this, dude, like, it got me emotional, bro. Just seeing Grogu reach out to touch Mando's face, you know, when Pedro Pascal has his helmet off, like, that was such an emotional scene, and one of the best moments, man. Just him having the Darksaber after he beats Moff Gideon, and having Bo-Katan, like, the way that whole season ended was so fucking insane, dude. And, you know, like I said, guys, season 2 was so well done. It was so well directed. And just looking back at it now, 6 years later, almost for the most part, as this Mando Grogu movie comes out, you know, I feel like it's a good time to look back and just kind of appreciate, you know, season 2, because, like I said, you know, when this came out, man, it was super influential. And I remember just all the Star Wars fans were so hyped, bro, because it was such an awesome and amazing moment. That whole season was so fucking good, man. And I hope that, you know, there's been a lot of decent Star Wars shows since then. You know, obviously Andor is another great show, but me personally, I feel like my favorite show and my favorite season out of any of the Star Wars shows is Mando season 2, man. It was so fucking peak. Every episode was a banger, and I feel like if you haven't rewatched it in a while, definitely check it out again, man. It was really fucking good. You might forget how good it was, you know. I really recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it, but other than that, guys, you know, that's basically just my thoughts. You know, there's no script for this. I was basically just rambling about the love I have for Mando season 2, just because of, you know, obviously this movie's coming out soon, so rewatching it again, man, it was such a great experience. And I urge every Star Wars fan, if you have not seen this season in a while, if you haven't seen it since it came out, please rewatch it, man. You will really appreciate it again. And that's all I have to say, guys. You know, thank you guys for watching, and yeah.